Hey guys, this is Evan from EzOrigami, and today I'll be teaching you how to fold an Origami Binary Star designed by Xander Perrott. This is a great modular design, and it's fairly simple to fold. This model requires 30 rectangular sheets of paper. Each unit is folded from a bronze rectangle, which is simply a rectangle with a dimension ratio of 1/√3. So if you'd like to learn how to cut paper of this size, you can check out my video tutorial for that here as well. And I recommend using rectangles with a long side length of 4 inches or less to fold the units. Using rectangles of this size will result in a star about 5 inches wide. Diagrams for this model can be found in Xander's brand new book called Folded Forms, which is now available on Amazon. It includes over 30 of his original designs, which are all folded from rectangles. So definitely check that out as well. I'll post the links in the video description below. And I'm going to be using larger paper with color on one side and white on the other, just to make it a bit easier to follow along. And once you've prepared your paper, then we're going to start with our first rectangle with the white side up. And then we're going to fold in half horizontally. So take this bottom edge and fold it up to the top edge. Align the corners and the edges. Then make your crease. And then unfold. And now we're going to fold up this bottom edge and align it with the crease that we just created. So we're going to do that by pulling up the bottom edge like this, and once the entire colored edge is aligned with that horizontal crease, then you can make your crease. Then you can unfold, and then you want to rotate the paper 180 degrees, and then we're going to do the same exact thing. So once again, we're going to fold up the bottom edge and align it with that middle horizontal crease. So we're just going to pull up the bottom edge like this, and once the entire colored edge is aligned with that bottommost horizontal crease, then you can make your crease. And then you can unfold. Then we're going to turn the paper over to the colored side. And from here we're going to fold up this bottom right corner and align it with the center horizontal crease. So we're going to do that by lifting up the bottom right corner, and we're going to pull it over to the left. Now as you're doing this, you also want to make sure that your crease extends from this top right corner. So to do that, you just want to make sure that this white edge comes to a point at the top right corner there, and at the same time you want to make sure that this corner aligns with that center horizontal crease. So once the paper is aligned in both places, then you can make your crease. Then we're going to rotate the paper 180 degrees, and we're going to do the same exact thing. So once again, we're going to lift up this bottom right corner, and we're going to align it with that center horizontal crease. And if you cut your paper accurately, you'll see that these two white corners will actually align in the middle of the model. So once the bottom right corner is aligned with that horizontal crease, then you also want to make sure that this white edge comes to a point at the top right corner as well. So you may have to slightly adjust the paper for that. And once it's aligned in both of those places, then you can make your crease. And now we're going to look at this white flap on the left. And what we want to do is take this right corner and align it with this point here, where this diagonal crease intersects with this left edge. So we're just going to pull that right corner over to the left, and once it's aligned with that intersection, then you can make your crease. And then we want to do the opposite on this white flap here. So we're going to take this left corner and align it with this point where this diagonal crease intersects with this right edge. So we're just going to pull that left corner over to the right, and once it's aligned with that intersection, then you can make your crease. And then you can unfold the two triangular flaps that we just folded in. And then we're actually going to reverse those two creases. So let's start with this flap on the left, and what we want to do is simply lift it up, and we want to reverse that crease so it now becomes a mountain fold. So just pinch that crease from the top so that we can tuck that triangular flap underneath. Just like that. Then you can flatten it all out. And we want to do the same thing on the right. So we're going to lift up this white flap, and we want to reverse this crease by making it a mountain fold. So just pinch that crease from the top and tuck the triangular flap underneath, and then you can make your crease. And then we're going to turn the paper over. And now we're going to fold the top and bottom edges into a line with this center horizontal crease. So let's start with this bottom edge, and we're just going to fold it up like this along an existing crease until it aligns with that center horizontal crease. Then you want to crease sharply through all layers, and you'll end up making a new crease on the right side here. Then we're going to do the same thing on the top, so simply pull the top edge down and align it with that center horizontal crease. Then make a sharp crease through all layers along the top edge, and you'll end up making a new crease along the left side there. Then we're going to rotate the paper 90 degrees, and we're going to focus on the top portion of the model here. And from here we're going to fold down this top point and align it with this top left corner. So we're just going to pull down the top of the model, and once both of those points are aligned, then you can make your crease. Then you can unfold, rotate the paper 180 degrees, and we're going to do the same exact thing. So once again, we're going to take this top point and fold it down to the top left corner. So just pull down the top of the model, and once both of those points are aligned, then you can make your crease. And then you can unfold. And now we're going to do a swivel fold. And we're going to start by separating the two layers on the top of the model here. And we simply want to pull this top layer of paper over to the right. Because what we want to do is make a crease that starts at this top point here and extends down to the right corner of this white triangle. So we're going to do that by adjusting this white flap until this white edge aligns with both of those points. And once everything is aligned, then you can make your crease. Then we're going to rotate the paper 180 degrees, and we're going to do the same exact thing. And again, we're going to start by separating the two layers on the top of the model here. Then we want to pull this top layer of paper over to the right, and we want our crease to extend from this top point down to the right corner of this white triangle here. So we'll need to slightly adjust this flap until this white edge connects both of those points. Once everything is aligned, then you can flatten it all out. And now you can see that the top and bottom are symmetrical. And now we're going to fold up this bottom right corner and align it with the top left corner. So we're just going to lift up the bottom half of the model so that you can align both of those corners. You'll see that the edges will align on top, and then you can make your crease through all layers. Then you can unfold. Then we're going to turn the model over. And now we're going to fold the model in half horizontally by aligning these 2 points that I've marked here. So we're going to do that by lifting up the bottom half of the model and pulling it up like this. And once those 2 points are aligned, you'll see that the model will have a symmetrical shape once again, and then you can crease sharply through all layers. And then you can unfold, and then we're going to turn the model over. And now we're going to open up the left side of the model. And I want you to notice these triangular creases here. The one on top should be a mountain fold, and the bottom 2 should be valley folds. So I recommend reinforcing those creases to make sure they're in the correct orientation. So you can just pinch the horizontal crease from the top to make sure it's a mountain fold, just like this. And then you can pinch the other 2 creases from underneath to make sure they're valley folds. And once everything's in the correct orientation, then we're going to start collapsing along existing creases. So we're going to start with this horizontal mountain fold, and we just want to pinch it from the top like this. Then we want to collapse along this right valley fold underneath. So we're simply going to push that layer of paper down along that valley fold, just like that. And then I want you to notice this crease which parallels the colored edge. And what we want to do is simply fold all layers over to the right along that crease. So we're just going to lift up all layers and fold them over to the right like that. And you'll see that the paper will start to collapse by itself. So just flatten everything out towards the center of the model, just like this. And once you have that, then we're going to rotate the paper 180 degrees, and we're going to do the same thing on the left. And we're going to start by carefully untucking this top left layer of paper by pulling it over to the left like this. And you'll notice those triangular creases inside once again. The top one should be a mountain fold, and the bottom 2 should be valley folds. So we want to reinforce those creases like we did on the other side. So simply pinch the horizontal crease from the top to make sure it's a mountain fold, and pinch the other 2 creases from underneath to make sure that they're valley folds. And doing this will make it easier to collapse the rest of the model. And once everything's in the correct orientation, then we're going to recollapse along existing creases. So we're going to start with this top horizontal crease here, and we want to pinch it from the top to make sure it's a mountain fold. And then we want to collapse along the small valley fold underneath. So we're simply going to flatten out the top layers of paper by collapsing along that existing valley fold. And from here I want you to notice this crease which parallels the colored edge on the right. We're just going to fold all of the layers over to the right along that crease, and you'll see that everything starts to get pulled in towards the middle. So just flatten out the rest of the model by collapsing along existing creases, and it may help to use a folding tool if all of the layers are getting bunched up in the middle. But once you've done that on both sides, your model should look like this. And from here we're going to fold the entire model in half along this existing vertical crease. So we're just going to push the left and right sides of the model together, just like this, to collapse along that crease. I think it helps to look at the model from the side and simply flatten everything out like this. So just reinforce along existing creases, and your model should look like this. And then you'll notice these 2 large flaps on top. We're going to start with this flap on the right, and we simply want to fold it down along this existing crease here. So we're just going to fold it over to the left like this. Then you can flatten out along existing creases. And then we're going to turn the model over and do the same exact thing. So just take this right flap and fold it down along this existing crease. Make your crease. And then you can lift up the model and look at it from the top. And then you can unfold the 2 flaps that we just folded in. Then you can slightly open up the center of the model to make it more 3-dimensional. And once you have this, then this is one completed unit. Now you must fold 29 more. And once you've folded all 30 units, you're going to need 2 to start the assembly. Then, look at one, and you'll notice that it has a flap like this on each side. And if you turn it over, it also has a pocket underneath these 2 triangles here on each side. So once again, we're going to need our second unit, and you can hold that one upside down as well. And then from here, we want to insert the second unit's flap inside of the first unit's pocket. And we're going to do that by lifting up both units. Then we want to slightly rotate the second unit, and we want to bring both units together, again by inserting the second unit's flap inside of the first unit's pocket. So just slide both units together like this until they don't want to go any further. And once you've reached that point, you'll notice that this edge on the second unit is aligned with the first unit underneath as well. And I suggest reinforcing that crease just to hold the 2 units together. And once you have that, then you've connected the first 2 units. If you turn it over, it should look something like this. Then you can turn it back over once again. And now we're going to add a third unit the same way. And now we're going to take our third unit, and we want to insert the third unit's flap inside of the second unit's pocket. So we're going to do that by lifting up all 3 units. Then we want to slightly rotate the third unit, and we want to bring the second and third units together like this. Again, sliding the third unit's flap inside of the second unit's pocket as far as it'll go. And you just want to push it all the way inside until it doesn't want to go any further. You'll see it reaches a point where this folded edge aligns with the unit underneath, and then you can just reinforce that crease from the top. And once you have that, you've connected 3 units. So from here, we're going to take our 4th unit, and what we're going to do is insert the 4th unit's flap inside of the 3rd unit's pocket. So we're going to do that by lifting up all 4 units. Then we want to slightly rotate the 4th unit, and we want to bring the 3rd and 4th units together until they're completely aligned. So just insert the 4th unit's flap inside of the 3rd unit's pocket, just like we've been doing. And you want to push it inside until it doesn't want to go any further. Then you'll see that this folded edge aligns with the unit underneath. Then you just want to reinforce that mount and fold from the top. Once you have that, then you can slightly rotate the model, and now you've connected 4 units. So from here, we're going to take our 5th unit, and again we want to insert the 5th unit's flap inside of the 4th unit's pocket. And we're going to do that by lifting up all 5 units. Then we want to slightly rotate the 5th unit, and again bring the 4th and 5th units together by inserting the 5th unit's flap inside of the 4th unit's pocket like we've been doing. So just slide the 2 units together until they're completely aligned. And you can reinforce that existing mount and fold that I mentioned before. Then we're going to slightly rotate the model, and you'll notice this flap from the first unit on top. And what we want to do with that is insert it inside of the 5th unit's pocket. So we're going to do that by carefully bringing the 1st and 5th units together, just like this, being careful not to disassemble the other units, and you just want to slide the 2 units together until they're completely aligned. Again, you'll see that they reach a point where they don't want to go any further, and you can just reinforce the existing mount and fold like I mentioned before. And once you've done that, then you've connected the first 5 units. If you turn the model over, it should look like this from the front side. And from here we want to continue adding units the same way. So what we want to do next is create this 5-pointed star shape on the end of each of these 5 units here. So if we turn the model over, you can start by adding 4 more units to this bottom unit here. And now you can see that we've created a 5-pointed star shape on both ends of this unit in the middle here. And it's also important to notice that in between any of the 5-pointed stars on the rest of the model, 3 units should always come together to create a triangular shape. So for example, you can look at these 3 units here, and we just want to connect these bottom 2 units to create the triangular shape in the middle. So we're just going to bring the 2 bottom units together, just like we've been doing, and you can slide them together as far as they'll go. And now you can see that we have this triangular shape here. And we can do the same thing on the top with these 3 units here. So we just want to connect the top 2 units to create another triangular shape. So we're just going to insert the flap inside of the pocket just like we've been doing. And you can push the 2 units together as far as they'll go. So from here you just want to continue this pattern of creating these 5-pointed stars connected by these 3-unit triangles. And that's how the model will really start to take its shape. So I would continue by creating a 5-pointed star on the other ends of these original 5 units here. And this is what the model will look like once you've created a 5-pointed star shape on both ends of the original 5 units. If you turn the model over, it should look like this from the outside. And if you turn it back over once again, then you want to repeat the same process by making 5-pointed stars on both ends of the remaining units. You should also be making 3-unit triangles in between each of the stars as well. So just continue adding units the same way until you've reached the last one. And once you've assembled all 30 units, then your Origami Binary Star is complete. I hope you've enjoyed this video tutorial on how to fold an Origami Binary Star designed by Xander Perrott. Feel free to upload photos of your completed model to the YouTube gallery on my website to be featured here in my next video, or simply upload your photos to Instagram with the hashtag EzOrigami to be featured here as well. Also, be sure to check out Xander's Instagram and Flickr photo stream for more of his impressive work. Like I mentioned before, he just released his first book called Folded Forms, which includes over 30 of his original designs. His book just became available on Amazon this week, so definitely check that out as well. I'll post the links for everything in the video description below. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below. I'd love to hear what you think. And of course, subscribe to my channel and hit the notifications bell for more videos like this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.